Good morning, my loves. It is Kulipupa here again, and it is, of course, the morning. So I'm getting used to doing more morning lives and everything. But I just wanted to. I was scrolling the Facebook page, and because I have so many different individuals that I communicate with and that I connect to. So I see all sorts of different feeds and different things when I am scrolling Facebook, like from all different perspectives, from all different frequencies. So, but anywho, I came across. Sorry, we've got the fantastically beautiful lip up behind me as well. But I came across a post that was, it was so clearly propaganda. And I thought, you know what, and not like I've never seen a post that is pure propaganda before, but I just wanted to, just so you can see the pattern in how this is propaganda. And I know a lot of you who are awake will always just be like, well, that one's obvious. But this is, of course, for those who may not be able to see the pattern in what they're reading or what they're seeing, because awareness. Once you're aware about it, like, it makes a huge difference, right? So like, what has been seen cannot be unseen, and you can apply this to, of course, different things. So I've got I don't know how to do the whole get the picture on the camera kind of thingy, and especially during a live. So I'm literally going to show you with my phone the post that was posted. So I'm going to take this out here. Okay, and we're going to flip this camera around. All right, so this is the post that was posted. So we have what we have here is at the top we've got this beautifully made up lady. A picture of a lady who has clearly gone through a traumatic beating, and then, of course, a standard kind of religious burqa that's going through, where the eyes are covered and everything like that. So this is, of course, regarding, of course, Muslim. Let's read this really quickly. When the Muslim refugees came, I didn't protest. They were just poor refugees. When they built mosques and Islamic cultural centers, I didn't protest. They had the right to pray to Allah. When they demanded only halal food in schools, I didn't protest. They can only eat what the Quran allows them to eat. When they gang raped women and girls, I didn't protest. Rapes occur in every culture and they have nothing to do with Islam. When they carried out terror attacks, I didn't protest. It was only a few extremists who didn't represent true Islam. When they demanded Sharia law zones, I didn't protest. They needed their own space and we lived in a free country. When their MPs took their seats in Parliament and didn't protest, they're almost half the population now and have rights. When they, we're going to go back. When they introduced Islamic Sharia law demanding that it apply to the entire population, it was too late for me to protest. So that was the post. Now, of course, I'm looking at this post, and I'm laughing to myself at what an utter crock of shit this all is. However, when you look in the comments of people, and don't get me wrong, this is from this lady specifically, but this was not the lady who shared this on my timeline because I'm not associated with her. But you've got stop these animals, when God is voted out, darkness moves in, blah, 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 and then you have one person going, stupid person, wake up. But anywho, so I'm not saying that nobody can spot the complete ridiculousness in this post. However, it is just for those who... So, let's break this down. So, like I said, first you have the imagery that goes along with it. Now, what happens when you see this imagery? Well, firstly, you're seeing this this woman, right, beautifully made up in the image of what you would classify a what the beauty industry would standardize as a beautiful woman. So, she's got the blonde hair, she's got the smoky eyes, the lips, good skin tone and hue and everything like that. Very, very made up. So, for one, you don't know whether she is American, Transylvanian, Brazilian, doesn't matter who or where she is. Doesn't matter, you don't know if she's Christian, if she's Muslim, if she's Buddhist, if she's atheist, if she's spiritual. You have no clue who this woman is. All you're doing is you're focusing on the image that you are seeing here. Now, that image of beauty then triggers your own emotional responses to say, hey, because things that are beautiful are things that I want to be like. This is what I aspire to be like. which is how most people have been programmed. And you know, I know a lot of people are going to be like, I don't aspire to be like that, blah, 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 blah. And which is definitely true, I'm sure. However, we cannot deny we have been conditioned to see a face like this and not think that is attractive, because everybody has. Now, this is what you want, right? So this is triggering what you want. Now you see this picture over here of a bloodied and bruised woman who has clearly went through something traumatic. This is of course trying to incite in you pain and violence and suffering, because you see a beautiful woman torn up like this. The first thing you are going to associate with that is not what was she doing, what was the circumstances, is this real, is she part of a movie, is she even this woman? She may be a completely different woman, but it doesn't matter. It is the association of violence, right? So now you are going from beauty of what I want to triggering of violence, and then you see the burqa, which let's be real. It's not as if many women are forced to wear this. Some of them, yes, growing up have cultural standards to comply. For example, I'm under a cultural standard when I'm in public, because preferably I'd love to walk around naked and have it not be an issue. But I wear clothes. Why? Because the standard of individuals thinks that boobies are naughty in any way. You know, they're for children and they're for sex, nothing else. But I'm like, I want vitamin D. Anyway, so you see the image of the burqa, and of course you are now reading this, associating it with with the Muslim face and so forth. But really, this is a cultural kind of thing. Not every single Muslim wears a burqa. It is their choice, you know, just like it is my choice to wear a bra or not. It's my choice to wear a dress versus pants, you know. It's a man's choice whether he wants to wear shorts versus pants, you know. It's your choice as to what it is you want to do. And we don't know this person. This person, a burqa isn't used to cover up, you know, violence. It's not like, oh yeah, we're part of such a violent society. Well, yeah, but like, our religion is so violent that we make our women wear burqas because we want to cover up the amount of beatings that we give them. Come on, let's be real. This is completely a choice. It is a cultural kind of bit. You know, I don't see anybody, when you see nuns walking down the street and their entire bodies are covered, and you know, like got the whole sister act thing. You know, they're back in the habit. You know, that kind of thing. I don't see anybody freaking going down and chasing up after nuns going, oh my gosh, why aren't you showing your tits? Thank you, Lip. We don't see that, right? So, you know, let's all be real here. If somebody wants to cover their entire head, that's their prerogative. It has nothing to do with you, and it's none of your business. But anyway, this is what it is triggering. So we've got the beauty over here, which triggers your want and need for accepting in society and thing. We have somebody bloodied and bruised and violence going, oh no, that triggers your empathy for pain and suffering. And then we have the burqa there, which is the association with the Islamic faith and religion. Okay, and you know, all of that. So that's firstly, that's how the imagery is playing on your mind, right? That's how the imagery is playing on your mind. Now, let's look at the text. When the Muslim refugees came, I didn't protest. They were just poor refugees. Why did the Muslim refugees come? Is it perhaps because the government of the Western societies like to literally invade and bomb a lot of shit? Let's face it, they like to invade and they like to bomb a lot of shit. These people, there would be no refugees if there was no wars. So you can't just be like, you know, if you see a child, right? A child that's getting beat the hell out of by their parents, and then the child runs away from home, right? Because it is suffering so much abuse. Are you then going to be like, oh, well, you know what? This kid, I'm not going to blame him for being in this space of the world because he's just a poor refugee. When you look at that person saying that and you're like, well, you're his parents. Why the hell are you beating the shit out of him? You know, like causing the kid to, cause and effect, you guys. Right? So that is complete and utter bullshit. Why would I didn't protest? Well, you shouldn't protest. You should protest the government to stop the bloody wars if you don't want refugees. Ooh. Simple as that. Now, when they built mosques and the Islamic cultural centers, I didn't protest. They had the right to pray to Allah. Right though? When they built mosques and Islamic cultural centers, I didn't protest. Why the frick should you protest? At the end of the day, if you walk down I'm in Canada right now, and I can tell you there is a church on almost every corner. They're literally just as popular as a freaking coffee store, right? There is a church everywhere, and every time you see these churches, you see the cars in the lot, and a lot of them they're not fantastically wealthy cars that you're seeing in the lot. They're just regular 1997 Hondas. But yet you see these churches that are so full of modernized tech and, pillars and this and that. And you're just like, every religion will build its shrine. Every religion will build its shrine. So yeah, they built a mosque and an Islamic cultural center. So you built another church. Both are completely irrelevant to finding the truth of yourself. Both do nothing. So why? Everybody does have the right to do whatever they want to do. They're following their own bit. So yeah, why are we putting it like that has anything to do with anything? Now, when they demanded only halal food in schools, I didn't protest. They can only eat what the Korean allows them to eat. Where did Koreans come into this? Literally, where did Koreans come into this? Where did anybody come into this? And I know such an immense amount of individuals from all different cultures, Buddhism, Sikhs, Muslims, Christians, Catholics, Hindus, atheists, agnostics. I know so many different people, and I've literally spoken with so many of them. And every single person that I've ever met that is a Muslim has never demanded that all food be halal. All they've ever asked is hey, can I have an option? If anything. And normally that option is vegetarian. They're just okay, well, just give me a cheese sandwich then. I don't need to, nobody is demanding anything. Listen to the for Jesus me, just go talk to an actual Muslim individual and ask if they are demanding halal food in schools. No, they're not. They're not. Options are nice. It's good to ask, because if you don't ask, you don't receive. But nobody's demanding shit. So let's really, let's break that down. Oh, this one. When they gang raped women and girls, I didn't protest. Rapes occur in every culture and they have nothing to do with Islam. Well, if that's the case, then why is this a part of this post? Okay? I want you to really think when they gang raped women. So you see, whenever you hear when they, what you are doing is you are associating the person who did this to this beautiful woman, which resulted in this, which is all a freaking lie in the first place. Now, so this has nothing to do with this entire post. However, what it's doing is it is triggering the violence again and reassociating your thoughts with this image up here. Now, so it has nothing to do with anything in this post. Now, rapes occur in every culture and they have nothing to do with Islam. That is a completely true statement. When they gang raped women and girls, have you looked at your politicians who not only gang rape women and girls, but also deal within the commercial side of the sex trade, So I'm before you're going on trying to condemn an entire culture of people or condemn an entire people in any way, look at who you're following first, right? There is rapes in every culture. There is rapes everywhere because it has been manipulated to do so, and rapes go on in the Asiatic countries. Rapes sure as hell go on in the Northern American countries as well. So that's the pot calling the kettle black on that one. Now, when they carried out terror attacks, I didn't protest. Well, of course not, because it was the US CIA the military that carried out the terror attacks. All of the people, if you were to simply do a couple of minutes of research, you would find that all of the people, the Twin Towers, all of this and that and blah, 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 yeah, they were all CIA individuals hired by the government. So no, they did not carry out any terror attacks. It was only a few extremists who didn't represent true Islam. No, it wasn't a few true extremists. What it was the CIA. It was the US government who carried out the first initial attacks. Anything after that is literally the people of that said country that they invaded, because there's so many freaking now, let's face it. It's only them. They are now retaliating because the government is murdering their friends, their families, their wives, their husbands, their sons, their daughters, their children. They are being murdered. So it is not that they are going out causing terror. That is the government's thing. That's what the government's doing. A lot of these individuals are simply going on defense. So if you find that you have a young man who's had his family murdered, and yeah, he's pissed off, he's angry, he's frustrated. So what is he going to do when he sees these liberators walking down the street? Yeah, he may be like, screw you, you took away my entire life, so I'm going to take away yours. It's retaliation. I'm not condoning any violence here. I'm not condoning any violence, but it is cause and effect, right? We just you gotta look at that. So again, when they carried out our terror attacks, I didn't protest. Again, this is primarily looked at as not only just Islam in terms of or Muslims. This is also primarily looking at the male Muslim at the same time. Hence why you have a female up here and not a male. So when they carried out the terror attacks, again, putting blame, you didn't protest. Well, because there was nothing to protest on. There was nothing to protest your government. Now, when they demanded Sharia law zones, I didn't protest. They needed their own space, and we live in a free country. There are going to be some individuals who want Sharia law. Let's face it. Those are going to be individuals who do have a very strong belief in their religion. But the ones who are demanding Sharia law have no play in actually carrying that out. To make a law effective, you need to have the belief of the individuals behind it, right? You can't oh, Jesus. Sharia law is not going to be placed in anywhere because there's not enough people who believe it in order to make it effective. And there's nobody who's going to be enforcing it. Just the same way when you have an individual who is severely racist, who wants to demand segregation in schools, who wants to demand that, colored individuals have their own bathrooms still and so forth. There's those people who demand that kind of bullshit all day. Would you say that they are changing the laws in the country? Of course not, because there's not enough people who have the same like-mindedness. Right? Just common sense on that one. When their MPs took their seats in Parliament, I didn't protest. They're almost half the population now and have their rights. When their MPs took their seats in Parliament. Oh, geez. So, do you believe this whole system of government and Parliament it's all a bloody sham and it's all a bloody fraud in the first place? But in order to become an MP, you need to be elected into that seat. You need to have enough individuals behind you to elect you into that seat. However, you still have to uphold the standards of whatever government that you are going in, right? To a certain extent anyway, because we all know that politicians are completely and utterly false and treacherous in the first place. But anyway, so when their MPs took their seats in Parliament, I didn't protest. Well, how do you protest this? Well, isn't it where you vote? If you want to participate in this complete sham of a system, you should vote, if that's the case. So if their MPs took their seats, it's because more people voted them in. They liked what they had to say. They're almost half the population now. That's false. That's false. Just because you see a couple of brown faces dressed slightly differently does not mean that they are half the population. Let's just get that correct, at least. But when their MPs took their seats in Parliament, I didn't protest. Well, perhaps because they were doing I don't even want to say a decent job, because no politician will do a decent job, but they're doing a decent job of upholding the sham, but which is the regular shit that you've been living through in the first place. Now, when they introduced, this is the thinking, when they introduced Islamic Sharia law, demanding that it apply to the entire population, it was too late for me to protest. Nobody has introduced this. Nobody has introduced this. This is not coming into play, but what it is doing is this literally, this little sentence right here, what that does, it physically is there to induce the fear so that this doesn't happen to you and your women, right? It induces the fear within men because they want to protect their women, right? They want to protect this beautiful face, so that, they can take that for a wife, or they can, nobody wants to have sex with this bloodied face. We want to have sex with this pretty face. So this is going to, of course, get men all like, oh, no, we can't take away our pretty face. And then women, this is going to, of course, affect women, because we're like, well, we don't want to wear burqas. We don't want to have a bloodied face, because that's what's going to happen. So again, this whole sentence is completely and utterly false, but it's triggering these emotions, whether you're male or female within them, right? So then what that fear does, that trigger of fear does, is it makes you forget all of the truth within the patterns of everything, and seeing all of this as a complete and utter fraud and lie. No, but because of this part right here, you're then going to be like, oh, well, out of fear, yeah, that's right. Next time I see a melanated individual, I'm going to be in fear because I don't want that. That's what's happening. This is a lie. All of this is a lie. So, anywho, that was me giving you my rant on this propaganda that we're seeing. Like I say, I know a lot of you would have seen that propaganda anyway. You would have seen the pattern and the messages in there. But I'm like, when you see something like this, try to look at it a little bit more deeply, and then don't share it, okay? Don't share this kind of bullshit, right? Because all it's doing is inciting further fear in other individuals. All it's doing is, for those who are lower frequency, who cannot find the patterns in this will incite their fear, and it causes more divide and more separation and more disillusion to what it is, the reality of the world, right? It promotes hate. It promotes suffering, right? And it is completely lack of truth. So anyway, that was just my rant. Again, so hopefully you can see the kind of connections and the manipulation that is going within there. So check out other posts that you may have seen, that you may have shared in the past. Reassess them and just be like, was I promoting fear? Because I didn't write this doesn't mean it's like, just because I didn't write it doesn't mean that. But if you are sharing it, you are still promoting it. You are still consenting to this, right? So see what it, just have a look and see what it is that you share. See what it is that it is being brought in your life, and then stop this kind of crap, right? And I'm not a religious person. I think all religions are fraudulent. However, there is truth in some of there's 50% truth, 50% lies. It's all a manipulation. But you take little pieces of the puzzle from each individual kind of thing, and you put it together within your own whole puzzle, which is yourself and your own beliefs and your own the truth of your own heart, right? But yeah, let's stop this bullshit, please. Please. And again, I'm not sitting here going like, oh, Muslims are the pinnacle of religion and we shouldn't do it. I'm not saying that, and I'm definitely not saying Christians are the pinnacle of religion. I'm saying no religion is the pinnacle of nothing. The only thing that has any true value and any true worth is your heart, is your energy, right? That is the only thing. This is just outside bullshit information. But anyway, okay, love you guys. Bye.